Hi, Warriors. Well, we're 24 hours or so away from Liberation Day. Everyone I talk to has no idea. There's so many different forms of tariffs that uh, really no one knows what's going to come out tomorrow until it does. If that makes you nervous, there's nothing wrong with, especially if you're leveraged, to just be flat and let the dust settle, not be afraid of missing anything, and then wait for the next setup, be patient, and then re-enter after the major quake has happened. You could handle the aftershocks. There'll be trading opportunities. So let's take a look at what's going on into it. We still have this euro. I'm still bearish a dollar. Okay, but I could see that we could have some type of rally on the tariffs here. So I'm going to view dollar strength still as a selling opportunity. I'm a seller in Dixie if it gets back up here towards 460 or so. From here, that would be, maybe a little under 107 in euro. Euro cable would be a great buy, 28 and a half to 28 off this moving average. I'm actually for the first time, and I want to talk about this too. So, Aussie's been really lagging, and we caught some of the Aussie on this move, but it really did not participate with dollar weakness like the euro. It had much stronger advance than the Aussie had. See, much stronger. So you have a lot of people negative the Aussie now. You had that big move in copper, it didn't do anything. You've had China rally, it didn't do anything. So I'm taking a stab at it right here. I'm risking the lows. We'll see if we could even hold the 6220, but I'm willing to risk the lows. It's really not a lot for a currency trade. You're only talking about from when I got in about 65 pip stop. Upside potential would be above this high. So right there is 180. And, we'll see. Maybe this sets a stage in Aussie for the next wave in the dollar. Maybe the Aussie kind of takes the lead. So it's still the second successive higher low. We're managing the risk. We're probing. We get a rally. We'll take a partial, and then we'll protect the remainder. But the big test, if we get going, would be up here around 65. That's 250 pips from here. All right. So from last Friday, the 151 short in the yen, which was here on Friday, we took partials, 150 pips yesterday, and that's why it's important to take partials because after we did, the yen reversed, no follow through today. Uh, I don't know if you added at 150. If you really want to tighten up stops, you could probably do it above today's high. Okay. Um, that was right here, 5120. Or you still have BE stop, and the worst case scenario is you made 145 pips on your first half. Not sure what to do with Canada going into the tariffs. It's acting like it wants to go higher. Peso, you have me. So let's talk about another new record high in gold right here. Okay, there still is really no divergence. I mean, we're getting confirmations after confirmations on gold. Just wait, there's the RSI up at 80. There is absolutely no divergence. Silver, a lot of commercial short, but I still don't believe it's reached its objective. Here we are in the gold silver ratio making new highs, so maybe we are back here. I thought we'd go to 94 and then that change, and now it looks like we're on our way back to 94. I still would not short silver. This is probably a great entry on the gold silver ratio. So that's the way that looks. I'm bearish on rates. We may get a little bit of a hold at any time, but to me, this looks like it was a a breakdown in the um, 10-year. And if you look at a daily, it was a classic head and shoulders. And this is how you could get your something we talked about before we got the right shoulder. So this a very weak right shoulder compared to the left. So a breakdown under this level at 410 um, with a 480 is going to give you way down here, maybe even 330. That would be the measurement of this whole formation. So I think rates are heading down. I know a lot of people are still negative. TLT is, acting okay. Looks like it wants to come out of here. Buddy of mine, Jim Welsh, is looking for 96 on TLT. This was a correction as forecasted to 88 and a half. Someone was asking yesterday, what's oil doing? Well, here, let me explain it. Seven B-1 bombers and three aircraft carriers in the region. So you're starting to get some war premium coming into it. I thought we'd have one more washout to 72. I'm not sure what to do with it. I'll leave it alone. And let's get to risk right here. This I call a graveyard save. If you played pinball when you were a kid, it's when the ball is about to go down the hole, which is the graveyard, and you know how to flip, not simultaneously, but close. And you pull that ball, the flippers save the ball from going into the hole. That's a graveyard save. That's what S&Ps did. Breaking down, I don't think you want to see it tested, especially right away here. This 5,500. So just take 650 from here. And that's how you get the 4,900, which looked like a ridiculous target when I first started talking about it back here on this megaphone formation. There still is a chance, though. We get lower yields. Bonds rallied and stocks recovered yesterday. So, and they didn't take more out of the bonds, and they're following through. So maybe we get a 2-week rally back towards this high, or maybe even 59. Get some type of ABC, and that would be a fat pitch for me. And I have a lot of shorting candidates I'd be interested in at that time. You guys know that I put on some Newmont puts. In fact, I had a buy in the S&Ps in there. I was an hour early. It stopped me out before we turned yesterday. That's part of it. Okay, so Newmont's up a little bit. I still think that we're putting in some type of significant top. It's a relative weakness compared to GDX, even though GDX is down 15 cents today. So I don't think we're far away from this top in the gold. And, I said that it might turn on the solar eclipse, which was Saturday. So here we are Tuesday. So should happen in the next couple days. We're down quite a bit off the intraday low. Let's look at some short-term stuff like a 30-minute chart. Yeah, we had a little divergence here. Not a lot. 15-minute, still could be another high. Anyway, I really don't have a lot of fear about this because the shares are not really responding to the last few updates, right? Here's Newmont, there's GDX. This is with gold making new highs, and compare the 4 hour on GDX, which at the highs on Friday had a glaring divergence. I'm not saying can't try another high for a 3, but that is a lot different looking than the physical itself, which has parabolic and blowout numbers on the RSI. So I think that's about it that I want to cover. It's keep your powder dry, trade light, um, pair down positions, uh, have stops that can breathe through the noise. Tomorrow I have Dave H. Contrarian. Dave's going to be with us to talk about what happened on the way to the melt up was a 10% correction. So we'll see what happens there. Join us tomorrow. Where Davey's been right about a lot of things, been right about the metals, the dollar's starting to go his way, the bonds are starting to go his way. So let's see if he thinks what we've had so far and the low we put in yesterday is significant and we're up and away from here. So that's 10:30 Eastern time, same channel right here. See you then. Remember, don't just count your pips.